The channel acronym IBMOR, Introspective Black Men of Reform, is just that. It is for black men. A lot of the IBMOR brothers out there really don't want women on the channel. They don't even want women commenting on the channel. They would like me to kick out every woman that actually comes into the space so it can be a pure male space.
Because women
Because their
contribute
brothers
nothing. That's why.
can say what they want unencumbered.
Exactly.
Now, recently, since the channel has gotten bigger, because the channel really was only designed for about uh, between 250 and 500 subscribers. It's supposed to be a really small channel, but since it has gotten some popularity because of some of the controversial videos that I have put out, I've seen a growth in the female subscriber base, which is fine. YouTube is an open platform where anybody can view the videos and people can comment on the videos. I'm good with that. I even allow, when it's something controversial, I know I have sparked women up, I allow a certain amount of discourse in my comment section. It's democratic. I believe in the democratic form. When I go to a women's space and I put a comment in, as long as I'm respectful to the host,
Oh, he's snap calling
to the
everything.
channel owner, because basically YouTube gives you that space and you do own that space even though you don't own the platform, and
I'm gonna
you're
check race here.
expected to monitor your space. When I go on a black woman's channel and in her space, in a woman's space, I ask a pointed question. I try to be as respectful as I can. I abide by whatever rules of the channel that there is. If I want to say something harsh, I don't do it on their
Yes.
channel. I don't go out spamming their channel or pissing all over their wall. That's what I do. I try to respect people's spaces. Got a lot of women that may have been ill raised and don't have manners. They think just because they're angry and they don't like what I have said, they can actually do it in a disrespectful way. And I allow a certain level of that. If I've said something to piss you off and I use some strong language, I don't have any right of that strong language not coming back at me to a point. But it has gotten to the point where we have black women coming in on a men's space, ear hustling on a men's channel, hearing something they don't like, and decided that we're gonna have a pissing contest in a male space. It's not gonna happen. And I have been generous and democratic by allowing a certain amount of discourse to go on. But I have been dialoguing back with UK Gully in a certain sense, and she said some strong things and some disagreeable things. But the thing is, as long as it's within the guidelines or within the leash, I allow it to go on. She said something to me in our last exchange, that this is YouTube and she can say whatever the hell she wants to. And unless I forget who she named, that she doesn't have to listen to me, which is very true. You do not have to listen to me. You do not have to heed what I say. That goes for all the women. You don't have to heed what I say, but if you don't heed what I say, you have to say what you're going to say someplace else. Because ultimately, YouTube has given us the controls to bounce people. I am lenient with women in our space because I believe in fairness. As a man, I believe in fairness, and there's a lot of brothers that think that I am overly fair. I don't think so. One thing I will not allow is somebody to come into a space that I created on a video that I took my time and created and piss all over it and think that you're not going to get blocked or erased. UK Gully is now hidden. She's still around. I didn't block her. She's still around. But for a male or a female, when I come on and it's gotten too far and I said, okay, this is enough, you need to shut this off or you need to calm your ass down, there's not something to provoke a fight. What it means is that I got my finger on the button, you've gone too far, and I'm ready to bounce you from the group. I believe that the only reason that certain people keep coming back over and over into my group, onto my videos, is because I have something valuable to say. I have something valuable to share with them that they want to hear. There's some valuable dialogue that they want to engage in. UK Gully has been on a bunch of my videos. If you don't, YouTube has millions and millions of channels. At least half of them are females.
I don't think he has
A
anything
lot of
here.
them are black women. If you have a YouTube username, you have a channel.
I'll let it go.
If you want to express your views, no matter what it is, by all means, I respect your right to put it up. I would never tell you what you can't do, what you can or can't do with your channel. I think that's democratic. I think that's right. But you have a lot of black women that think that just because they can put up a fake user account, a dummy account, they can come in and then piss all over your channel. Just because you have access to YouTube doesn't mean you can come onto my block, onto my square that YouTube has cut out for me and piss on it. It's not gonna happen. Heretofore, you're gonna get one warning and you're gonna get bounced. I have a lot of guys that come in, a lot of guys, especially a lot of guys that aren't black, that come in and demand me engage them in an argument in the comment section. I think it was Pleep the Fifth. I think that's his username. Had just gone through it with adapted and overcome through a whole series of comments. And I refused to answer him. And he thought that he could demand an answer out of me. You do not pay me. You do not pay my salary. I do not owe you my time. I give my time. And if you're respectful, and I think from what I've heard from other YouTubers, I am very generous and graceful with my time. I'm graceful. I'm graceful and generous with my 8-hour hangouts where I open everything up. I take even difficult people, difficult subscribers. I will let them and get their grievance out or air their differences out over, sometimes an hour or two where we're going back and forth. I think I am generous. I think I'm gracious with my time. I think I am gracious with the information I put out. And I don't mind people disagreeing with me as long as it's respectful. As long as it doesn't go on too far. As long as you guys don't put 10 paragraphs into a block of text that I can't really read in the comment section. I can respect that. I can respect if you disagree with me, 1 or 2 comments. You said what you had to say. I leave the doggone thing up. I think I'm gracious enough to give you an answer, which I do not have to do. A lot of YouTubers don't answer their subs. A lot of YouTubers only answer subs that agree with them. I talk to the subs that I agree with, and I talk to the subs that I disagree with. I try to be equal with that. I don't really have a Patreon. Who knows, that may change. I don't have a PayPal link. Who knows, that won't change. I can never say never. But for now, it's basically free information.
Please don't
Free
have a 7.
information that I've learned throughout
Yes.
30 years of my lifetime that I am sharing with people who I think it could be valuable to.
I'm running like a god.
Try to be respectful to women that are respectful on my channel. There's more than a few
Oh,
that
he's
are on
getting it
my
in.
channel that listen in the background, that comment, that are respectful. If you're respectful and basically you have something to add, because that's what you're supposed to be here for, especially if you're going to be on a men's channel, don't come up with propaganda. Add to the discussion, whether you agree or disagree with it. If you add to the
Yes.
conversation, and
Don't bet.
guys are willing to exchange with you, I
See
let.
ya.
When you overstep that bounds, guess what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna really be honest with you because I'm not gonna lie. It is a men's channel. It is a men's space. And women do have a short leash. I'm not gonna lie about that. You cannot come onto this channel and say exactly how you feel, wow, and what you feel and disparage the men on this channel because you will get bounced. And I have been lenient with that over the past couple of months because a lot of stuff I put up has been controversial. But that is probably going to change. And I'm probably going to give certain, the women that really want to come on and piss on the wall one warning. You want to get angry about it, you're going to get a bye Felicia and you're going to get gone. And if And once I bounce you, the only way you'll get back in, you're going to have to email me and apologize and say you're going to be a good girl. If not, the channel's not for you. Go someplace where the channel is for you. I'm talking to men about things that men care about. And if you happen to be the topic of discussion, a lot of stuff that you hear will not be liked. So sometimes it feels like I'm talking to you. I am talking to the men about you. And when I use you as a subject, it is to basically illustrate what I mean, how what I talk about and how I feel. There's YouTube does not put a gun to your head to watch my videos. They don't put a gun to your head to comment. I put the moniker IBMOR on there expressly so that you will know what it is and what you're walking into. Now, I hope that clears things up. This is my address to my female listeners, however many there are. I think it's like 10%. So if it's 10% and I got 3,300 subs, that should be like 300, 300 or 400 women that are out there that actually listen to me. Why you guys come to my channel, I have no idea. Why do you guys want to be on listen to an IBMOR space? I have no idea. That's an individual choice. It's an individual decision. I respect that as long as you respect mine. Don't get it twisted. YouTube has given me the block button, and trust me, I will use it if necessary. I have used it in the past more. I've been using it less recently. But if you really want to engage with us, you really want to be here to comment on stuff that you feel maybe right or wrong, or where I've been too strong or not strong enough, I would say do it respectfully. Don't piss all over my channel with trolling. Don't try to get into fights with all the guys because that's going to get you bounced. I would like to be fair. I would like to be reasonable. But if you give me no choice, I'm gonna do what Black Ram does. Black Ram don't engage with women. He don't allow women on his channel. If they show up, he blocks them. He don't even talk to them. He don't even want to hear from them. There's a whole bunch of other IBMOR creators. They don't allow you guys on there. Period. They don't want to hear from you. They don't want you on the channel. They chase you off and they let you know that you're being chased off. And please do not come back. I'm older. I'm more lenient. I have daughters. I think women should have their say to a point. When that point is passed, they need to get out of men's conversation. I'm old school like that. But respectfully, that's what I got to say. And respectfully, this is BGS out.
Okay. So, oh crap. Let me not lose this thing. Okay. So I agree with him. My personal opinion is, as he said, don't even let women around. You don't even have to worry about that dynamic. Let me say this about BGS, and I love his content, so I'm not taking a shot at him. There was one time where I was in a meetup, one of his hangouts rather, and he had a female on there, and she was pretty quiet, wasn't starting trouble. And so me and BGS, as we tend to do, we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. And we was talking about that for about 45 minutes. And so at the end of that conversation, she makes a comment. She's like, well, y'all was talking about that for 45 minutes. And of course, men that knows that, she's trying to put you on a timer. My attitude is just like, well, it's not that strict, actually. I mean, I'll hear women out. But as far as the emotional venting or emoting, I guess you could say, I just don't put up with that. I really, at this point, I don't see any value in just letting women into the conversation. It just really doesn't bring any value because they really don't have any arguments. It's just insults on top of insults. The ace-4 fold in the beginning, in early position. I mean, I just don't want to get into the big pot with top pair no kicker, although this is a pretty good flop for ace-4. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Well, I know why he did it, but I don't think he should have to make that video where he has to quote unquote straighten women out. As far as why women, specifically black women, come to these channels, I think it goes back to that conflict thing. Okay, so he folds, he calls on a button. Yeah, if I don't hit the flop, I'm pretty much gonna have to bluff at it or fold. I'm not. Oh, oh. So this is a very good flop for us. So we're gonna do 575. We even have the 6 of diamonds as a redraw to a straight flush. This is a raise. If he has, okay, if he had the ace, king, queen, or jack of diamonds, we would have gotten value out of that. But it is what it is. As far as, yeah, like I was saying, like as far as black women wanting to come on to these channels, I have no idea why they do it. I don't know. Maybe it goes back to that loving conflict, being dramatic kind of thing. I have no idea. So that's all I've got to say about that. Yeah, they don't really have anything to bring as far as conversation and as far as a rational argument. Usually they don't. I've got nothing here. I can't even bluff at it. Certainly he has some he's betting. He's putting in 10% of his stack, so I'll just fold. Easy fold. All right, 8 deuce of hearts on the button. I'm just gonna fold this. I'm not even trying to get out of hand. I've been running really good lately. 6 out of 69 out of 119 players. All right, got nothing there. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. I know that BGS is more forgiving when it comes to the females than I am, or the most guys, especially black guys, are. Wow, this is getting crazy. Oh, don't tell me my 8 deuce of hearts are good. 4 of hearts on the river. 4 of hearts. Oh, 4 clubs. I was close. Flush. All right, we're gonna queue up another video in a second here. Yeah, a raise to 420. Nah, I'll let that go. Let's go to the next video. The ugly girl argument for men. All right, let's do it.
Men who are assertive, maybe even a little aggressive, or a lot aggressive.
Oh, I started to look at it. Start from the beginning.
Hello, my IBMOR brothers, back again in for another debate or response, as we might put it. It seems educated lame is a code word, so we have a lot of people weighing in. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I guess it is. So now we have another one of the gender war warriors from the first gender war, as they call it, coming out of the cold to weigh in. Now, I had never heard of her, but she popped up on my recommended list, and I gave it a listen. And then I heard Sergeant Willie Pete give a response. Then right after that, my boy Fieldmaster Rom gave a response. So I listened to the video.
I should be raising here, actually.
And I understand why the old gender war is spiking up. You hear a lot of the old
this is a bad flop. I should have raised.
That,
oh, well. He could bet with anything.
Tossed around for the last,
I can't continue.
What did it say, 10 years or so? So
yeah,
for
I can't continue.
Years, I'm going to throw my hat into the ring.
That's what I get for not raising.
I'm going to do a response to, you heard me first, if I'm not mistaken, that's what her name is. Response to her video, Educated Lames, the ugly girl.
Is that 100 and 400? I'm getting 3 to 1. All right. 4 to 1, rather.
You know what this is? Especially for you
Come
guys
on, bluff.
who like to hear women's voices. This is going to be a response Black Gnostic style.
If he checks, I'm gonna blast the river.
This is annoying.
Yep.
Please tune out now and save yourself the anguish.
So
Just
these
automatic.
whole
Just
educated
automatic. I just knew he didn't have
of
anything.
discussions that were had back on Gen X when that was a thing. I think Sergeant Willie Pete even discussed it before he got kicked off of YouTube the first time. I know what an educated lame was, at least back then, but I don't know if they're still going with the same definition now, because even though several YouTubers have made videos on this topic, nobody's really defined what they mean by educated lame. And obviously, we're not meant to take educated lame literally, because if if these guys are lame, then that's their problem. They're lame. So I'm just gonna go with the definition that I remember from back in the Gen X days. All right, so basically, the complaint of so called educated lames is that they're being passed over by women in favor of thugs, at least when they're young, and then after the women have been run through and used up and abused by the thugs, they want to come to the educated lames later on in life and have the educated lames pick up their slack, take care of the kids that they had by the thugs, get them out of the debt that they got from supporting thugs, stuff like that.
Pretty much
Basically,
close.
a cleanup man or a Captain Save-A-Ho, as they stated. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. These men are complaining, for lack of a better word, that in their younger years, women are passing over them in favor of thugs. I'm going to be rather frank and say that a lot of these educated lame guys have an ego problem. They have identified a characteristic about themselves that they feel should make them the most desirable men, yet and still they are being outbid for women by quote unquote lesser men. Now, even though I say you have an ego problem, I understand where you're coming from. You sacrificed, you delayed pleasure, you studied really hard, you worked really hard to accomplish something that most people will never accomplish. And you feel you should be rewarded for that. So I get that. And I definitely understand how it can make you salty if you think you're the better choice and yet somehow somebody else edged you out. But the reason I call it an ego thing is because it's similar to what racist white guys do. They put all their stock in being white, and then when they walk down the street and see a beautiful
What?
white woman with a black guy, it really messes with their head because they're like, I'm white. Why would she choose that over me? Justified or not, it's ego.
Now, listening to her almost sounds like I'm listening to Deborah Cooper. You hear all the shaming language come out about what you are and how everything is your fault. But she said she was going to give a definition for an educated lame, but she didn't. So I'll give one here. An educated lame, for lack of a better term, is an educated square. Now, lame and square are very
Whoa.
term. And it could be anything from nerdy and goofy all the way up to just somebody that doesn't have black swag. And there's a lot of blue collar guys.
Smells like a set or an ace
lame.
high.
But the angst,
ace high flush draw.
are basically pointed toward educated lanes because they talk different. They act
ace king with ace of hearts.
They act smart because they are. That's nothing new in the black community, especially if you're in the black community. If you're smart and you talk different, you talk educated, you're going to be what? Teased and picked on, and sometimes even beat up if you're a guy. Literally, you're a square peg in a round hole.
Go on a race
Now,
here.
talk about not being picked in your younger years, which is something that not only ELs or educated lames say, but also a lot of collars guys say.
Nah.
You don't have money, you don't have swag, you don't look like the guy on TV or in the rap video. You're that boring workaday dude trying to build himself up and build up his career. That goes for blue collar guys that are into the trades and also the lames that are building up their corporate career or starting a business. You're no fun. You're working 6 days a week. You're working a lot of hours, don't have a lot of time. And like Cyndi Lauper says, girls just want to have fun. So if you're not out there running the streets, tricking off your money, then girls ain't checking for you. They're going to run around with the fun guys. The guys that are tricking off their money, going to happy hour, taking them out into expensive restaurants or taking them on trips here and there. Or even the Madden Kings who sit at home doing what she says and waiting on her beck and call. Now, the educated lames have an added angst with the community, or at least in the urban environment, is that not only do not the women like them, but the community itself treats them like they're lepers for the most part. They look at you and treat you like you don't belong, which in a sense, if you're educated in the white school system or the Prussian school system as we have to be something that America wants, I guess in the black community, you don't fit. A lot of times women blame men for responding to what they put out. Now she blames the educated lame's ego is the same as being a white man for the problems that they go through as far as with women.
False
You see a pretty
equivalency.
girl on her arm, on the arm of a thug, so to speak, which I don't know why that would surprise you, that a pretty girl is on the arm of a thug when you've seen that from middle school on. I don't know why that would shock you. They treat educated lames like they went from 10 years old to 30 years old, and all of a sudden they just came out with all this genius whole cloth, and they're inexperienced. No, they've been seeing that since they were coming up. They know what the game is. Educated lames have a problem with is that
I should
the
be
media
raising hair.
and women, especially, get on social media and media,
Yeah, let's raise.
particularly, and lie. They always say that the educated lame is exactly the kind of guy that they're looking for, and it causes some dissonance in their brain when they see one of their colleagues, and trust me, it's a whole lot of y'all out there, one of their colleagues
Let's make it pot.
on the arm of somebody who they have been told is lesser than they are. Is it ego? Yeah, partially. Is it the same thing when that educated lame can't find a black woman and is successful and has a white woman on his arm? Do black women feel the same way? I think they do. Is that black women's ego? Is it black women's ego to start calling that educated lame a coon, a thug, a race traitor, a sellout, an Oreo, a self-hater, a race hater, amongst other things? We conveniently leave that out when we talk about ELs, or these thinking black men who have finally overcome.
Don't
It's
shove.
really interesting
Oh, he
when
doesn't shove. Okay.
black women have
I
a
should have
one
raised there, actually.
worldview.
Well, maybe.
They can see what you did, but they
That-
can't see what they've done to cause it. Anyway, continuing.
Another thing, being educated doesn't excuse you from having to be attractive to women.
Can I win here with King High?
And I'm going to tell you why.
Nah,
When
I'm just gonna show it
educated
down.
Black women were waving their degrees around and saying, "I don't have any kids.
Here comes the bet.
I don't
Here comes
have
the
a
bet.
pet," Yada yada yada. You know, I'm a good
Fives.
cat.
Okay.
And yet you guys pass over me and go marry that floozy who works in a call center. And the black guy's response was, "I'm sorry, she's pretty. I mean, I don't want to have sex with your degree. I want to have sex with her, and I want to wife her up. So I'm sorry, you're just not attractive. Your degree does not make you pretty." Well, sir, your degree does not make you attractive to women. Okay, so what does make you attractive to women? Things
right, let's
that
race
are
here.
tied to some kind of biological need.
This
or
is
desire.
loosey goosey, but we're gonna do it
So
anyways.
if you want to attract a woman, let's say
880.
you could use three things. One, you could use your looks.
Min
Two,
race.
you could use your personality.
See what happens.
You could use money. All three of those are based in biology. Obviously, a
Come
man
on,
with
fold,
money
fold, fold,
can
fold,
provide.
fold, 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 fold,
Women are hardwired to seek out men who can provide for a family.
fold, fold, fold,
Let's move
fold,
on to
fold.
looks. Looks serves a purpose. Women want attractive
Is he
children.
re-raising or
It
thinking?
goes without saying that humans are attracted to humans that are attractive.
Yes. Yes.
When I say looks, I'm not just talking about being attractive in the face. I'm talking about having a nice body. You know, being built, being muscular, being very masculine. Very masculine men are attractive to women. All right.
I don't want to get shoved on. Like if I raise to get re-raised, I don't want to. I don't want to call with A7,
Outgoing, people who are charismatic, people
especially
who
with
have
these two
swag.
stacks.
They are very attractive, just like people who are physically attractive. Also, women like men who have a lot of authority. Men who are assertive, maybe even a little aggressive, or a lot aggressive. Also, women like men who have power, which you can lump in with attitude, or you can lump it in with money and do like money/power. But either way, women like men who are in charge. If you have the power to persuade people the power to get people on
Don't
your
check.
side, the power to get people to like you, then of course you
Wow.
have a problem attracting women.
Wow.
Some people might want to lump education in with money and providing, but having an education does not necessarily mean that you make good money.
This is what I get for not raising
College
pre-flop.
graduates that found out all too late that
That's what I get.
degree
A
wasn't
random
the
8.
golden ticket that it's made out to be.
Random
Plus,
8.
they're not calling themselves rich lames, they're calling themselves educated lames. Higher education isn't necessarily tied to something biological. Yes, humans have always learned, but back in the hunter-gatherer days, what you need to learn was how to hunt and gather. So, like, the boys went off with their fathers to learn how to hunt, and the girls stayed with their mothers to learn how to cook the food once their fathers brought it home. This whole thing of sitting in a class
he's committed.
however many hours a day and taking exams and all that, on the timeline of humanity, that's a
Hold that hand.
thing. Cave women didn't choose men based
Oh, this is
on
going in. He missed.
primitive tribes in Africa and other places around the world don't choose their men based on quote unquote education in the sense that you mean it, like having degrees
Fold.
and stuff.
Fold.
They might choose mates based on who can gather
Fold.
the most food, or
He doesn't have a jack.
who's the chief's son, who's the chief's daughter.
Yes. Yes.
Still saying, never bring a knife to a gunfight. The same thing applies here. Never bring feelings to a fact fight. Now, what she has done is brought her feelings to a fact fight. You can see her own personal angst is coming out in her video. She's comparing educated lames, so to speak, with educated females. They're not the same thing. We're scored on two different scales. Women are scaled on looks and personality. And
Check
men are
race
scaled
here.
on
Top
resources,
35.
assertiveness,
Bet.
and masculinity. Now, as far
Oh
as
no.
concerned,
That's the worst
nobody
card.
ever told black women that they're
Oh
they're
no.
to black men. Your mother and around her told you to get your
No.
degree and get your education so that you could
Kenny,
provide
you
for
idiot.
yourself, not to get a man. Now, back in the day, they sent you to college to get your MRS degree before you left college. not after.
Straight.
I see very few personal ads or dating profiles with men asking for women with PhDs. But I see a whole lot of black women complaining and in their personal dating ads talking about they need men on their level. They need a man to be educated. They need a man with a degree that can match their educational attainment. So now she's very eloquent the way she says it, but backward logic spoken eloquently is still backwards logic. You cannot grade a man and a man's desires on what you want. I'm a catch because I have a degree. And the first thing a man will say is, so what? I didn't ask you.
I actually should have checked behind. That was a bad bet.
Because at the end of the day, you're not spending that degree money on me.
I don't think he has a 5.
So that floozy in the call center looks better and has a better personality, is more submissive, is a better catch for what he wants. If he wants a wife.
If he has a
Like
5, he has a 5.
Little girl said in Insecure.
He doesn't have. No, he doesn't have it. Yeah.
Checking for no bitter ass black women anymore. Now, to bolster her argument, she engages in sideways logic, saying that if a man wants to attract a woman, he needs looks, he needs personality or assertiveness, and or the trump card, which is money, resources. Now, why she feels that she needs to talk down to grown men that have experienced this and known this damn near their whole life,
All right.
I don't know.
I'll call
5
with the min
seconds
raise.
on any dating app, you find that out.
Oh,
Ask any woman out on a date and have been turned down.
that's
or
a good
been
flop for me.
You
All
quickly
in.
find that out.
Yeah.
Men approach.
Okay.
Why do you think educated lames.
Okay. This is a tough call. Oh, what is it? I got to call 39. It's a good flop. I should have known better. I like that call though. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough spot. It's a really, really tough spot. I should have called. I mean, because I had quite a bit of outs. An 8, a 7, 5 or 6 on the turn is good for me. I don't know. I mean, I should have called there. That's inexcusable. It was tough though. I was just being a chicken shit about it. Should have called. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Have nice suits, big houses, and big old nice cars when they actually get their money on. Evidently, they already know what they need to have to attract a woman. So coming back with an old argument that ELs can find out in any red pill site or pick up any book that will tell them exactly the same thing. Hell, if they listen to any female dating expert or anybody on YouTube, you'll find out the same thing. All women say exactly the same thing about the man they want, especially black women. Anyway, continuing.
Just a little side note, even though money does attract women, I wouldn't suggest that you lead with that because you're more likely to attract gold diggers.
That's a good card to bluff on.
But the point still remains
Maybe
that
not.
money is a way that you can attract women. So what you need to do, or what you needed to do, was set aside your education for a moment and ask yourself, if I didn't have this education or this degree, what else would attract women to me? If you don't have anything to fill in that blank, that there is your problem. You're an unattractive guy with a degree, just like those black women were ugly chicks with degrees, or at least so you said. Just a little side note, am I saying educated women can't be pretty? No. However, if an educated woman was pretty that, then she'd be in the pretty girl category. You'd be a pretty girl who's also educated. But if you're leading with your education, if your big shtick is, I'm an educated woman, then you're probably leaning on that because your looks have failed to distinguish you from others. So you're falling back to your education to try to separate yourself from the pack. Pretty women don't get passed over whether they're educated or not. Let me tell you something. If you ever heard of Asperger's, basically that's a high-functioning autistic person. A lot of those people are very even get stuff.
Yes.
Social skills are developed that they're still very unattractive to women. So just being smart and just being educated isn't enough. You have to be attractive. I'm not just talking about the physical. I'm talking about you better have something that attracts women. Money, looks, attitude. One of the three, all three of the three, something. Now, here's another reason why I say it's ego. For every educated flame out there, there is a female counterpart, and there may even be more. Why aren't you going after her? And please do not tell me it's because all of them are also going after the thugs. First of all, thugs don't want them. Thugs,
if you raise, this is all in.
Now, I know it does happen sometimes. When I was in college, I knew a few girls who were going to school to be teachers, doctors, lawyers, whatever, but they had some thug hood boyfriend. I know it happens, but don't tell me it's all of them. Is it that there aren't any educated lame females available, or is it that you don't want them? Now, I'm guessing you want the pretty girls. Well, the pretty girls want pretty guys. They want buff guys. They want charismatic guys. They want guys with money. All right, so you guys are complaining that thugs are getting the women you want. Well, what's so special about these women? Are they the best women? What makes them the best? Do they have high moral character? Well, if they're dating thugs, that's kind of questionable. So what's making them the best? Is it that they're pretty? Are you lusting after these women for any other reason other than they're pretty and have a banging body? I'm asking you. Yes, I know men are...
Oh, pity! Oh, I
told a bitch! You can't complain about women choosing a thug who is masculine, got money, and is good looking. I'm not saying he has all three, but has at least one of the three. You can't complain about women choosing that guy over you, and then you turn around and choose women solely based on them being pretty and ignore the fact that they may have some character flaws if they're choosing thug men. If they're not making good choices, they should be off your list. But I understand why they're not. But they should be.
Now, she continues to repeat the same trope, the same facts over and over again. Money, looks, power that women are attracted to. which makes sense, even though they don't actually admit that's what they're attracted to.
Wow.
Spitting out that stuff that they
Wow.
want a man on their level. In other words, be what I want or shut up. Now, what's interesting in this clip is that she talks about the nerdy girl aspect of it, which is another, I would think, lie. Now, for some educated lames that are in the urban environment, that is very true. A lot of women, mostly black women, want some guy to thug or guy with some kind of edge to him, because that's the environment that they're in. And
I'm running like a god, like a god.
Baller or the guy with the swagger, the gold standard. Is what it is. But the nerdy girl, who may not check for the thugs, who might not like thugs, and thugs might reject them, has no bearing on when an educated lame goes after them, that they're checking for you. See what I mean? Women only tell half the story. Everything that goes on is your fault. Now, she acts like there's this massive amount of nerdy girls in college and whatnot, running after these educated lames when they're younger. And I can tell you that it's unequivocal bullshit. There are no hordes of nerdy girls or even unattractive girls running after educated lames.
That's true. That's true.
Black men have the widest standard of acceptance of looks and attitude on the planet.
Bluff.
So if all these educated girls were checking for these dudes, you wouldn't hear these dudes complain. You only hear the nerdy girl argument when the educated lames get their money up and get their status up, like when they're in their late 20s and their 30s. And when they're getting ready to jump the fence, or they're picking a lighter-skinned girl or better-looking girl, and then all of a sudden the nerdy girls say that you ignored us when we were in school. No, the ELs didn't ignore you in school. It's the guys that you wanted ignoring you in school. So the ELs are not just rejected by the women that like thugs. They're also rejected by the women that don't like them. There are more guys out there than just thugs. In fact, thugs make a very small percentage of black men. Nerdy girls chase the frat boys. Nerdy girls chase the athletes. Nerdy girls chase the good-looking working class guy. Shirley is chasing the same guy that Keisha's chasing. Keisha take a blue-collar guy or a regular guy with money and some swag, the same way Shirley would take a blue-collar guy with some money and some swag. And they'll take a frat boy, or they'll take an athlete. You're all chasing for the same pool of guys. They don't all have to be thugs. So you ask, how come you don't go after the pretty girls or the girls that the thugs don't like? Well, most guys probably have gone after them, but they've been rejected. But let me tell you a secret about nerdy girls. Nerdy girls don't date thugs and have thugs on their arms in the daytime. But there's a whole lot of guys that creep in at midnight and leave at 5 in the morning.
4,000.
Educated nerdy girls won't tell you that they're sleeping with these guys because they're too embarrassed to bring them out in public. But guess what? Whole lot of guys that were thugs and what we considered low-class guys banged a whole lot of you nerdy girls out there. But that's a well-kept secret.
Get your ass out.
Even though it's not
Let's go.
A well-kept secret.
Let's go.
You just don't want the nerdy guys to know because you're still banking on
Get
them.
your dumb ass out the game.
Go.
Queen 5.
But that's just between me and you. Continuing.
And now I want to address this argument that I hear some black guys make that, black women didn't want them when they were struggling to get through school or, struggling to build their business or yada, yada, yada. And now that they're successful, a lot of black women are interested in them.
Mike Jones.
Black guys take it a step further and say, well, since black women didn't want me then, I don't want you now, and I'm going to date whatever other race.
Now they hot. They all on me.
Say this, feel guilty about dating outside their race, and they looking for a reason to justify it. You don't have to justify it, but since you feel guilty about it, you think you have to.
Final three tables.
My answer would be, when you were in school or struggling to build that business, you didn't have anything that was attractive to women. And I'm not talking about money, because I talked about three things. You didn't have charisma, you probably weren't that good looking, and you didn't have money. Now that you established yourself and you're older, You've got the money, which is attractive to women. Perhaps you start going to the gym and bulked yourself up, which is attractive to women. You can't really do anything about your face, but that is what it is. And then maybe in the process of building a business or going through school, you developed a personality. You learn to be more assertive. You're essentially a different person than you were back then. And all these white women and Hispanic women who are all over you now, would they have wanted you back then? And if you had been what you are now back then, would black women have wanted you? That's the question you need to ask. But yeah, you're not going to ask it. Also, maybe the fact that you didn't attract as many women in your younger years was a blessing in disguise because you didn't end up getting sidetracked, like possibly getting a baby or, somebody getting you mixed up in some bull crap or, you end up getting in a fight over her or something or, whatever, any number of things that can go wrong when you have women in your life.
That could always happen, though.
If
that doesn't change.
And I don't even see what you're complaining about. But, yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say. And don't get me wrong, it sucks that, somebody who's got their lives together, at least headed in the right direction, has to compete with somebody who is selling drugs or committing crimes, stuff like that. That sucks. I'm not saying for a minute that it's not reasonable for you to expect to be picked over them. I'm just saying that
let's just hope we can call
attractive to women. Even if you are doing the right thing, even if you're educated, even if you're a great guy, you still have to do things to be attractive to women. And whether that stems from what you are, who you are, or what you can provide, you're going to have something that attracts women.
Uh-oh.
Something to say, add your...
Now, this is slightly condescending. You're acting like
King Hearts.
The educated lames were virgins.
Wow.
Hit puberty.
He has an ace.
The time that they got their money, or the time that they got developed, like around their late 20s, early 30s, like they were building themselves.
I want to so bad,
and nobody was checking for them.
Yeah,
and they were in this silo by themselves, doing their work and doing their gigs, and they weren't looking for women. They were basically holding their nuts for 15 years until they could finally explode out onto the scene, which is not true. Most of the guys that date interracially, and you can go back and you can listen to any of the guys that, especially educated lames that dated interracially, they will tell you that the reason they don't check for black women is because black women didn't want them then. But other races did. So the Latina and the white woman, or the white girls, they were in their sphere, especially in college or when they were developing their corporate.
You can't call without a queen.
Or their businesses, the only women that were actually checking for them that would actually give them a chance were the Latinas.
Yeah, you can't call without a queen.
White women. There was nothing for the black women to hold on to. They didn't have looks, they didn't have swag, and they didn't have money. Their own women showed them no loyalty. The black
700. I'm getting what?
And rejected them.
5-1, 6-1.
Particular guys do.
All right.
They went to where they were accepted. They were given a chance. I don't know how many times I've heard that a nerdy guy, and I've seen it because I went to a white school. There's certain guys that were nerdy. Even the nerdy black women would reject them. They were not handsome. They talked funny, and they were considered strange by the black folks that went to the school. But guess who accepted them? The nerdy white girls. The nerdy white girls approached them. The nerdy white girls dated them. The nerdy white girls slept with them. So who do you expect that they're going to marry when they actually get their
he limped in with kings.
It ain't rocket science, Cupcake. If you're going to give an argument, tell both sides of the story. Don't bring feelings to a fact fight. Now, could it be a blessing in disguise that a lot of women weren't checking for you, so that couldn't get you in trouble like most of the popular guys? Perhaps. Then you didn't get sidetracked? Perhaps. But where was that black woman, that nerdy black girl that was doing the same thing that could have helped you along because she was doing the same thing? Nah, she was interested in the popular guy, the hot guy. Now,
you ain't got a deuce.
Sure it does.
Yeah, right.
Does
Stop.
it suck that the women that you preferred, or the women that were in your area preferred the guy that had swag, had money, that was selling drugs and doing all kinds of dastardly.
I think my king
those
here is still good,
common
actually.
women's lives and also in the neighborhood. Sure, it sucks.
Check.
And it sends a powerful message.
Wow.
Message that this is not the community for you.
Maybe he does have an
Have a
ace.
place because the gold standard is that guy.
Wow.
You need to go where you are the gold standard, and a lot of guys do. But what gives black
Nice hand.
and black educated lames angst is that now, when they have gotten their money up and they are popular and they do have something going for them that attracts women, now you come with shaming tactics. Now you come with the name calling. Now you come in with the guilt trip that says you need to come back and help your community. What, the community that didn't want you? Come back and help the women that didn't pick you? That 10 years after the fact, that the black women, the black nerdy women, are going to come wave their degrees and the fact that they don't have any children in your face and say, you pick me, pick me, pick me? It's called loyalty. You didn't show any to him. And whether women like it or not, even thugs,
Got a block.
even thugs want loyalty. A pretty girl with a banging body is no good if she doesn't show you any loyalty. She's a booty call just like everybody
Okay.
else. The nerdy girls don't want to admit that you spit on these guys when they were young. That's the problem. You don't want to admit that shit. No, I was checking for you. You just weren't chasing me.
Crap.
That's why come all the ELs laugh. That's bullshit. All the girls rejected them.
They'll go
The
crazy.
nerdy girls, along with their hot girlfriend.
God damn it.
Because that's
What?
they were trying to be. They wanted to be the hot girls.
See, that's the. Oh my God.
Cheerleaders and the special girls. They wanted to be like that.
That is brutal.
square pegs.
That's so brutal.
You rejected the nerdy guys and waited in line so that maybe, just maybe, one of these guys that was selected would actually pick you. Most of them went through y'all just like they went through everybody else. Women are famous for rewriting history. They just are. But I'm going to give a closing rant real fast. A lot of this stuff that's going on is about race loyalty after the fact. You expect guys that you hurt to get over it, suck it up, and accept what's offered to you. Because you know 10, 15 years after the fact, these are the guys that you need if you want your lives and your communities to get better. And if you can't hold on to these guys, then your careers, your communities are in trouble. Because there's a whole lot of white guys that ain't checking for you. And if you want guys on your level, white guys, Mexican guys, or whatever, Asian guys, or whatever, you're going to have to pick nerdy white guys or nerdy Hispanic guys or nerdy Asian guys that are way below the level of the black men that you're picking. And the bottom line is that no matter what you say, no matter how you try to put it, you don't really want these nerdy guys. You want their resources. You want their stability. They know that. They're not stupid. They know that if they married you and had kids by you, and that hot dude that you always wanted came along, slinging his 9 inches, and actually came and got with you, you'd abandon that educated lame in a heartbeat. You would. You just would. Or you sneak behind his back and do it anyway, right? They know that. That's why they stick with the women that accepted them back when they were young. It is what it is. It's nobody's fault. And just like you say, you have to do something or have something that's attracted to women. Or, as I say, you got to find women that are attracted to what you have. Because you're educated doesn't mean anything in the black community. It doesn't. Not to black women. But it happens to mean a lot to white women and Asian women because that's potential. And they're willing to do what? Bank on potential. The standard of what their guys should look like and act like is not the same as it is with black women. White women don't necessarily want a highly aggressive guy. Most of them don't. And definitely most Asians don't want a highly aggressive guy, at least not to settle down with and marry. So they're willing to invest their time and their energy in a guy that's not that. So that's why you see educated lames jumping the fence and leaving the community and draining the resources in their brains and their talents out and leaving the black community as that dried husk that it is, and leaving these educated, nerdy women as spinsters for the rest of their lives. But that's not what's spoken about. That's not what's talked about, at least not with women. And the best thing that women can do is actually come out and admit the truth. Don't give us these half truths. Don't give us these fairy tales. Don't try to rewrite history because we're all there. And basically, don't try to invalidate our own experience. Guys approach. Guys look. They see who you're rejecting. They see who you rebuff. It's something that is seared in their brains for the rest of their life. So saying that they're lying and invalidating their experience is not going to work, especially after they get 30 and they get established. Educated lames are like elephants. They got long memories.
That is true.
They do not forget, and they do not forgive. Karma's a bitch sometimes, and black women have a lot of karma to make up for. Anyway, that's my argument on educated lames, the other ugly girl argument for men. That's all I got. Until next time, this is BGS out.
Okay, so hypergamy isn't scalable, and what I mean by that, let me turn this down a little bit. So if you're a woman that's making $100,000, you can forget about the fairy tale, unless you're willing to pay for it yourself, which most women are not. As far as what did the chick say? Oh, this is a perfect card. This is actually perfect. This is an all-in. As far as why personality, looks, and resources, well, resources is a given, and looks, yeah, that works also. Personality, I mean, that doesn't last. Yeah, swag, he has swag, but that fades out. As far as, I don't know, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's women. Women tend to give it up to men that can make them laugh, which is the weirdest thing. But it's mostly resources. If you have resources, it overrides everything else. As far as her, I mean, ugly. Yeah, the nerdy girls, the smart girls, the ugly girls, they want they want to do with swag too. It really doesn't matter. And I've got nothing here. I have to fold. He could bet with anything, and I have to fold. Yeah, he doesn't have anything, but I can't call. Um, as far as, I mean, yeah, the ugly chicks, they all want like the guy with swag. So if you're a guy that's a square and I'm a square, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any of the other dumb shit. Can I shove here? Yeah, I can shove here. Screw it. If he has me beat, he has me beat. If he calls me, I'm certainly behind. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Okay, we survive. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, they all want the guy with swag and everything like that. The problem, yeah, nobody wants a woman has hit the wall. That's a single mother that's out of shape. You know, she has that C-section scar. Who wants that? Nobody. No man, anyways. Not as a first choice, anyways. You know, so in the end, as long as men don't do something stupid like getting married or getting some woman pregnant, they can have kids till they die unless they have like prostate cancer or something or ED. There's no if you have anything like if you are a man that has like 20 that's making like 20 grand a year, which is like I think that's like minimum wage. There's no reason why you should be there's no reason why you should be going for the so-called fairy tale at all. It's a waste of time. Um, what else did she say? Ego problems. Yeah, you could say that. You know, you work so hard. I mean, the reason why a man works so hard is so he could build a nest for his wife and children. You know, you're talking about you want these upper echelon of women, but they're talking about swag this and swag that. So now you got to work your ass off in college. You got to work up the corporate ladder or run your own business. And for what? For what? Just so you can say that you spread your genes, your legacy gets to live on for another generation. That's a waste. That's not good enough for me, anyways. I can't say um, speak for any other man, but it's just not worth it. Especially when children cost $250,000, it's just not worth it. Why even bother? I mean, I'm an introvert, so I don't mind being by myself. I know some people being by themselves and in silence, it drives them nuts. They have to be around people. They have to be around noise. It's a waste. This is the optimal scenario for men. Work yourself into early grave for a wife and kid. A wife that is either one, not going to put out after a certain amount of time or not put out as much, or is going to take your kid, or it's going to give you most likely going to give you a divorce and take your kid, or going to give you a divorce and not take your kid. You got to pay child support, that pay-per-view game, or you be separated and you play that game, or you're unhappy. You're too you can't break you as a man know that if you get a divorce you're screwed. So that's out. She's most likely gonna take the kids. Like, there's so many dead ends in this scenario. It's crap. Oh, if he calls, I'm shoving. This is automatic. Yeah, I have like 5 big blinds. I have to. I mean, okay, we survive. That was close. That was really close. Okay. It's just so many dead ends, and it doesn't really matter what women say at this point, to be quite honest with you. Can I call here, overcall? What am I getting? It takes 1,500 more to call into. I'm getting like 10-1. All right, screw it. Can't afford a raise, that's for sure. We're almost at the final table. I can't continue on this board. This board I don't think hit anybody unless it hit one of the blinds. Just check it around and let me hit a 3 on the turn. God. 3 and a 13, 4-1, and I can't call that. We're on the final 2 tables. Wow, he flopped a straight. Wow. Wow. This is a shove here. I think I played that 6-10, that 10 of clubs bad. This is 5, 6 big blinds. Yeah, this is an all-in. Come on, fold. Oh, God. Flop 2 pair. Why would he call it off with Queen Jack? Holy shit. He called it off with Queen Jack. I'm only 3 spots away. Well, was that a bad shove from being 4 spots away from the final table? Well, we're already in the money. Prize is the top 20. I don't know. Was that a bad shove with 4 spots? I don't know. It's close. I have no idea. We're down to what? 2 big blinds? 2.5 big blinds? I don't know. That may have been a bad shove, actually. That was certainly a bad call on his part. And now we have to. We now have to. Here comes the raise. He's gonna call. He has no reason to fold. Wow. Good game, guys. Wow. So I think I played that 10 of clubs poorly, actually. Very, very poorly. Who was top 20 at that point? It was just so sick that he flopped ace 4 of clubs. He flopped a flush. And my 10 of clubs, I mean, there was a jack of clubs on board. So I'm only losing to the ace and a king. Ace, king, queen. He min raised on the flop. So maybe he has a club there, and of course my clubs come in on the turn. I'm thinking about jamming. He min bets. Of course, it's enough to have me continue. So he got thin value from me. I mean, that got me for like half of my stack. So it is what it is. Wasn't played poorly. Now, the rest of what BGS was saying, where she was deflecting and using the emotional argument, I agree. What she was saying, well, these guys have an ego problem. Um, she was basically saying you weren't shit. Um, you really wasn't desirable before you got your money, and that's why things went the way they were. Well, it's just basically hypergamous bullshit. I mean, it's nothing new. She hasn't said anything new, and this guy is on a tear. This Bobby KGB, he is running like a god right now. He gets a full house on the river. That's just sick. Anyways, it's just typical BS. That's it, again. I'm not trying to tell men what to do, but it's just if you're bettering yourself to build a nest, chances are good that you're going to get destroyed. That's what's waiting for you. Destruction. That's what's waiting for you. Till next time, guys. Like, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, making another one right after this. So, yeah, thank you guys for your time. See you next time. Peace.